I don't know if Mr. Robles isn't here anymore. I thought I saw him earlier. Good morning. This is Judge Alyssa Perez resuming the civil docket for the 210th District Court for February 9th, 2022. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Mr. Panto, how would you call our next case, please?
Yes, Judge. Under 2019 DC 2381, James Curry versus JAI Dining Services Inc. Announcement to council, please.
Oscar Mendes on behalf of the plaintiff.
Neil Stockbridge and Tyler Stewart on behalf of defendant JAI Dining Services, El Paso.
We're scheduled today for both a final civil pretrial and a motion hearing, that being the defendant's motion to strike. I did not see a response. That the motion was filed back in November. So, Mr. Stockbridge, you may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. I spoke with Mr. Mendez this morning, actually, and we reached an agreement, or at least a temporary agreement on these special exceptions.
Okay.
And just to give the court a quick background on what's going on here, as you might recall, this incident involves injuries that were caused by third-party criminal acts on my client's premises. And so our position is that under Texas law, that is strictly and only a premises liability claim. And I believe plaintiff has, 9 or 10 different causes of action listed. And so I reviewed our position with Mr. Mendez, plaintiff's counsel. And as today, Mr. Mendez, please feel free to jump in or correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but our agreement is that the plaintiff will file an amended petition within 2 weeks, dropping the negligent and intentional infliction of emotional distress claims. The plaintiff will drop the fraud, misrepresentation, and negligent misrepresentation claims, and he will replead with additional specificity on his conspiracy claim and assault claim. Now, our position, or defendant's position, is still that the assault claim and the general negligence claim should also be dropped. But Mr. Mendez has agreed, as a part of this 2-week repleading process, to review those causes of action and make a determination whether or not to drop those, so that after he amends the petition, should we still have any special exceptions or new special exceptions, we could try to get that heard later on.
Okay. Is that accurate, Mr. Mendez?
That is correct, Your Honor. And unfortunately, we tried to get more of what we couldn't resolve, but our office was subject to a cyber attack, and we still haven't got everything back up.
Okay. So look, so thank you for working on that. I'm trying to think of scheduling. What we're going to do is come back, not in 2 weeks, but on the 3rd week after, which would be March 2nd, for a status conference. I'm looking at what we have scheduled right now. Looks like we left your docket call on March 9th, but then went ahead and moved the trial date to April 7th and 8th. And that's, I'm sure, because that's when I actually have panels, of course, still under COVID protocol for jury selection. And we gave you that July backup. I want to cancel that March 9th docket call, since we will have that March 1st status conference. I need to ask, though, because I remember all of those issues. What I don't remember is if you all have ever gone to mediation, because there's still a deadline by which that has to happen, which would have been 30 days, probably like 31 days before docket call.
We did mediate,
Okay.
and I believe the mediator filed some sort of notice on that, explaining we were unable to reach a resolution at this time. I don't remember specifically what date that was off the top of my head, though.
That's okay. If you all have done it, you've taken a shot at it. I just didn't remember.
Okay.
So we're going to cancel, we'll add March 1st, cancel March 9th, and then we need to add April 6th. Yeah, April 6th as our new docket call date. I don't know. I haven't gone through all of the cases because we've been shuffling around with this, new cancellation of trials, a lot of cases. So just bear with us, gentlemen, because I don't know how likely it is April is going to be feasible. I think at least 3, maybe 4 trial settings at the beginning of the year that got wiped out, so that I thought we were going to be able to start things up. But, oh well, okay. So just bear with me on the scheduling. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Sorry, just for clarification on the status conference, did you say March 1st or March 2nd?
I'm sorry, you're
Or is
right. It should be March 2nd. That's a
Okay.
Wednesday. And we'll do that at 10:30.
And do you think at that point in time, we might have a better idea about the feasibility of the April trial setting?
Yes, I think
Okay,
so.
okay.
I think so. Yeah, I don't want to say it. I don't want to be like Debbie Downer here, but I feel like it's going to be unlikely. I think we're realistically looking at July, but I'm not going to say that for sure yet. You all are
Understood.
2019 civil. I mean, a lot can happen, when people think they're going to trial, sometimes cases go away. So we'll just keep the schedule as we stated for today. If you need anything in the interim, maybe between that March 1st and, as we head down, just please make sure to email us any pleadings that you are requesting a hearing on, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Your Honor.
Thank you, gentlemen. Take care. All right, Chewy, who's next?
Okay, Judge, second one from the bottom on page 4.
Go ahead.
Cause number 2021 DCV 2421. Myra Ray et al. Versus Samuel Acosta. Announcement of council, please.
Giancarlo Serna for plaintiff, Your Honor.
Soraya Yanan Honshu, court ad litem.
Are we missing someone?
Good morning,
there
Your
she
Honor.
is.
I'm sorry, I was having some difficulties. Good morning, Your Honor. Felicia de Leon Rendon on behalf of the defendant.
Okay, and we're here for a status hearing. How are we doing on this one?
Your Honor, I believe all parties are ready to go forward with a friendly suit hearing. We just need a hearing date.
Okay. Can we do it? Let's see. Sandy, how does the 23rd? No, because that's our trial. Let's go to March 9th. March 9th.
Do you want morning or afternoon, Your Honor?
What works best for you all? Any preference? I want to say 11 a.m.
This time
but-
works great for me.
Alrighty, so we'll do 11 on March 9th. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bye-bye. Who's next, Tree?
Okay, Judge, bottom of page 4.
Okay.
Cause number 2019 DCV 3433. Ramos Hermanos USA Inc. Versus Cargo Transport Solutions Inc. Announcement of council, please.
Good morning, Judge Cal Mandel for plaintiff.
Morning.
Good morning, Judge Michael Hirsch for defendants.
Okay, so it is just the motion to compel. Let me look at this.
Judge, actually, it's not a motion to compel, it's a motion to withdraw. If you recall, last time we met, we had a hearing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Hold on a second. Let me look at that. All right, Mr. Mundell, update me. You were saying. My
Yeah,
system is
Judge,
really
this
slow.
case, we're the plaintiffs in this case, interestingly. I'm not used to saying that, but they retained Fred Hutter, and he's no longer with our firm. So as he left on his way out the door, he left me with this present. And since then, they have not contacted us. They don't want to pursue the claims. Freddie mediated the case. It didn't settle. So we worked with Mr. Hirsch and we got a little more money on the table, but that's still not enough. They don't want to go to trial. They don't want me to represent them, and they don't want Mr. Hirsch's settlement. So I'm not sure what to do. And now they won't answer the phones. So and we're set for trial next week. We're in a little bit of a bind here. I even called this morning, sent an emergency message, just trying to get them to consent to the withdrawal or appear at the hearing. They now have notice of the hearing, and we just can't get any response, Judge.
And I feel like that's what you had represented last time, and I wanted to make sure they were provided notice. So that, how did you notify them? Like if they're not
It's
responding?
it was on eServe. I think the court actually sent them an email.
As well?
The email we provided. Then we did a
Okay.
notice of hearing for the last one. We didn't do it for this one because they were on the eServe.
Okay.
But we did call.
Okay, and just to be clear, do we have any communications, Mr. Pantojar or Ms. Aguirre? Anything from
I have
anyone?
none, Your Honor. No, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Okay, so let me look at the. Okay, so your motion to withdraw is granted. And we are going to cancel out the 16th, Sandy, the 18th, obviously. We're gonna put this in 45 days for DWAP. And I guess we have all the last contact information, right, Mr. Mandel? We have an email, was e-served, is that what you said?
Yes, Judge, I forwarded the contact information and a copy of the letters that we had sent previously.
Okay, perfect. All righty, well, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Sounds good, Judge. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too, take care.
Judge,
Who's that? Okay, who's next, Tree?
Okay, Judge, Mr. Shelley is here, top of page 40935, where it's where Mr. Robles was here, but we're waiting for Ms. Brooks to appear.
Let me see. Entry of judgment on 223. Maybe that's why they're not here, or what are we waiting for, Mr. Shelley?
Yeah, all we're waiting on is Mr. Robles. He sent us a release, and my client lives out in Horizon, and she's elderly, doesn't use DocuSign, and doesn't drive. So I've got to send a paralegal out to go get her to sign the release, and he's all that's left in this case. And then once I get the release signed and get it funded, I can file a dismissal.
Okay, let's just go on to that February. Am I looking at the right one? Let me see, 0935. Yes, let's just go to that February 23rd setting, see where we are. Gives us a couple of weeks.
Okay, yeah, and I'll try and send someone out there now, so maybe I can just get it all done and get the dismissal on file.
Perfect. Would
All right, thank you.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Uh,
All righty, who's next, Tree?
Okay, Judge, Mr. Fuel is here, top of page 5. We're just for Mr. White or someone in his behalf to show up.
Oh, I had this one scratched off. Why is that? I don't know.
Judge, they were actually, Judge, they were set last week on an entry of scheduling order, but they wanted our approach because they're opposing something or other.
Oh, okay.
So you set us for trial. The order was, I think in December, maybe earlier than that.
Mm-hmm.
It was for trial in July 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And then an entry of scheduling hearing or order for last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I represent the plaintiff, the Perry family, and we want to keep that trial date. They were discussing trying to get a postponement of that trial date because they don't think there's enough time to do discovery. And I think the reason for that, and I'm not trying to misrepresent anything. If they have a different reason than that, please take that. But I think it was because the standard scheduling order ends discovery about 90 days before the trial date. So that would be April. And I said I would be willing to agree to an extension of that discovery period, but not a pushing of the trial date. And they said, well, we still want to talk to the court about getting
Okay, so
a trial date.
thank you for that. Is it Mr. White or is there anyone in the waiting room, Tree? Because it was at 11.
It could be,
No, Judge, there's no one.
it could be Mr. White or Alessandra Martinez is his associate on it. There might be somebody else. Sebastian Nunez.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, let's see if someone shows up. We